Welcome. My name is Christine Perret. I'm the chair of the Area Research Committee, and I'm presenting to you today about a new project we're working on called the Research Agenda Second Edition. And I do hope that those of you who are watching will become contributors on this project. So what is the Research Agenda? It was a project that focused attention on big data to come up with the descriptions of the state of the art, in particular to study where there are gaps in our state of the art, in our knowledge about enterprise augmented reality. We went to some effort, quite a lot of effort, I would even say, to exclude any use cases or any technologies that were specifically for consumer augmented reality or for virtual reality. So really narrowly focused on enterprise AR. And we based our research, our analysis, on a group of articles and metadata about research that had been published in ACM and IEEE databases, specifically peer-reviewed journal articles and conference proceedings between January 2017 and June 2021. Then we performed some analyses and grouped these into topic areas and aggregated those topic areas into 7 research categories. This took about close to 2 years. And when we were finished, we published this on the area website in July 2021. We promoted and we've been evangelizing this information, this research agenda, primarily to academic and corporate researchers, as well as any organizations, private or public, that are funding research in the domain of enterprise augmented reality. We also use this as the basis for the first area think tank. And from that think tank, we generated some subjects that then were the focus of future and area research projects. So you might be wondering, what are the 7 categories of research that we came up with? And they are on the screen. And as you can see, with each one of those categories, the top level category, on this slide are the explanations of what is included in each of those. We also went to a small company to create for us a dashboard, a way to filter in the information, to browse these research topics by the expected time frame when they would have impact, by the categories, those 7 categories I just showed you, or also being able to search by keyword. And we prepared this interactive dashboard to make it easier for our target audiences to find what they're looking for. We hope that you will learn more about the first edition by visiting the homepage for that research agenda. If you want to understand more about the details of how that was performed, how we did the work, then you can read about the methodology on GitHub, or you can read an IEEE VR paper that we published on this subject of the big data analyses and how we approach this problem. If you prefer to watch a short YouTube video, then you can do that. There's a video that was published in March 2022. And you can also look at a 2.5-minute video about the Find AR tool that we created as a companion to the research agenda. Now that's the background. That's where we were several years ago, and we've kind of let this percolate, and now it's time to do the maintenance and produce a second edition. The goals of this second edition is to go back to the first edition and to look at those topics to see if there are any that are no longer relevant, they've been addressed, or perhaps they need to be reoriented a little bit to reflect the current conditions of our market. We also want to collect new topics that help us to inspire researchers to focus on obstacles and gaps in our understanding that would help the enterprise AR adoption. So there are 3 essential components for this project. The first is the people, you. you're the most important ingredient in all of this. We want people who are close to the industry, who understand enterprise augmented reality and its impacts, people who are also able to communicate about the gaps in our knowledge. The second component is a data set. We call it the reference data set, and it has been updated to include all of the publications and the peer-reviewed publications and the conference proceedings up to June 2023. I'll tell you a little bit more about that, as well as the tools we'll be using. As I said, for this to be successful, we need the participation of people who are in the field, who are close to the subject matter, and who can help us to go through the entire process. We're not expecting people to write long reports. We, in fact, want information that's very compact, concise, easy to digest. We're looking for people who may have one or two domains or topics that they have deep understanding about, that they're passionate about, and who can share those with the other contributors so we can decide what topics are most relevant for the second edition. Also, I want to make sure that you know our approach is going to be iterative. In other words, we'll be proposing changes, we'll be reviewing them, and honing in on the topic descriptions, polishing our work until the project reflects well on us. The reference data set has expanded significantly. As I said before, it was only from January 2017 to June 2021, and now we've extended that 2 years. And in that time, the data set has expanded quite a lot. So now we're looking at a much bigger data set with 12,000 items or more. We have connected that data set into the Find AR interface and also produced visualizations to help us, the contributors, analyze what the changes have been and what the trends are. We're not looking to highlight where the most research has been done. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We're looking for the gaps in the research, the places where there has not been sufficient attention paid to specific problems. The reference data set is generated automatically, and what that means is it doesn't have a bias or as strong a bias as it might have if it were done manually. As I mentioned before, we need tools, and so we're going to be using Google Form quite a bit. It allows us to produce information in tab delimited formats in a spreadsheet essentially, so that we can more easily process this with our natural language processing tools and publish it to WordPress. So to make some comments or feedback or anything on the first edition topics, you'll be using a Google form that allow you to pop up the whole list of 47 topics, choose the one you want to focus on, and then give us your input that way. If you want to edit for readability or grammar, just paste the text from the web page into the field in this form, make any changes, and we'll be able to get that directly. So this now has provided to you some background about the first edition and the goals of the second edition, how we plan to approach it. We're going to have a kickoff meeting on May 16th. We hope you'll be able to attend. We're not planning to repeat the information in this recording, this webinar. In fact, the purpose of that meeting is more to get acquainted with you and to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions and make suggestions. After the kickoff meeting, we'll all be able to go in parallel, read our first edition topics. You'll get more familiar with those and give feedback specifically on the details of those. You'll also be able to attend a live session in which we'll get a presentation about how the reference data set has changed. We'll all be able to propose new topics for the second edition, and then there'll be this honing and polishing and processing of the topics over time before they're ready to be published, again, on the AREA website on WordPress. In the back of your mind, you might also be thinking, how often should a research agenda be updated? How often should the reference data set be updated? keep those, keep that question in mind. Should it be a specific time interval, or are there some criteria you've thought of? We'll be talking about that later. All right, if you have any questions about this project, please join us on the May 16th meeting, or you can always send us an email, myself, C. Perret, or the other two leaders of this project, Shelley Bagke at NIST, or Bill Bernstein, who's now with the Air Force Research Lab. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to your participation.